Well, hello, my YouTube fellows and gals. So, if you're new to my channel, my name's Tammy, and Used Bookstore. Under Mendes Bookstore and more on Facebook. Or you can message me through tammysmakeuptreats@gmail.com if you're interested in buying any of these books. If not, I still am a resource center. I read the synopses of 10 books a video. And if you have a Kindle or a Nook, you can go look them up. So, today we are on lot 60. And these books are $2.50 a piece. And if you want to get a hold of a certain book, you just email me with the lot number and the author and the name, and everything will be in the description below. And then I will get your book to you. I will post it to my Etsy store as a special order, and you can go pick it up. And all these books will be available until the end of every month, and then I purge. So the first book we have is Drive by James Sallis. This is a 2005 copyright. And like I said, these are $2.50 a piece. These are bigger and they're paperbacks, flat paperbacks. So, driver works as a stunt driver by day and a getaway driver by night. He drives, that's all, until he's double-crossed. So that's all you get for the synopsis on this one. So there you go. Action and suspense is where it's at. So that's book number 1, because we are working on the action and suspense category. Okay, book number 2, we have The Keeper, and this says Maze Series Book 1 by Angel M. This is a 2013 copyright. It's got a little rating in it, a dedication to someone, and this is what it's about. 21-year-old Gabriel is determined not to spend the rest of his life like his father, trudging off to a job he hates. Seeking the adventure of a lifetime, Gabriel packs his things and heads to the Maine wilderness, where he promptly becomes lost. Accompanied by his critical inner voice, his imaginary friend from kindergarten, Gabriel begins hiking on a mountainside path, unaware that he is about to discover his destiny. When Gabriel is pointed in the direction of the ancient maze, he is transported to another world with caverns, cliff dwellings, and rainforest. He attempts to befriend Kieran, a fellow traveler who fluctuates between best bud and budding serial killer. Soon, Gabriel realizes that Kieran is an outcast whose resentment toward him peaks when the local chieftain's daughter is presented to Gabriel as a potential wife. Gabriel has other ideas, however, and escapes the arranged marriage just in time to meet a druid girl who opens his eyes to the wonders around him. But as Gabriel is led into a deadly battle, he must do something he abhors in order to survive kill. In this fantasy tale, young man takes an epic journey of self-discovery that comes full circle when he realizes that the gray stone walls of the maze have been manipulating him all along. This sounds like a good book. That's book number 2. Book number 3, we have The Confession by John Grisham. This is a 2010 copyright, and this is what it's about. In 1998, in the small East Texas city of Sloan, Travis Boyette abducted, raped, and strangled a popular high school cheerleader. He buried her body so that it would never be found, then watched in amazement as police and prosecutors arrested and convicted Dante Drum, a local football star, and marched him off to death row. Now, 9 years later have passed. Travis has just been paroled in Kansas for a different crime. Dante is 4 days away from his execution. Travis suffers from an inoperable brain tumor. For the first time in his miserable life, he decides to do what's right and confess. But how can a guilty man convince lawyers, judges, and politicians they're about to execute an innocent man? Well, that sounds good too. So this is book number 3. Book number 4, we have The Lost Treasure of the Knights Templar, Solving the Oak Island Mystery by Stephen Sora. This is a 1999 copyright, and this is what the book's about. When the Order of the Knights Templar was ruthlessly dissolved by King Philip the Fair of France in 1307. It possessed immense wealth and political power. Yet none of the treasure amassed by the Templars have been found. This lost treasure is rumored to have contained artifacts of spiritual significance that were retrieved by the order during the Crusades, including the genealogies of the David and Jesus, as well as the documents that trace those bloodlines into the royal bloodlines of Merovingian France. Documents that were perceived by those in power in medieval Europe as a threat to the established order of the church and state. But what connects this treasure to the Oak Island money pit, so called because of both the priceless treasure it may house and the extraordinary sums of money spent in futile attempts to excavate it, that has baffled treasure hunters for over 200 years. Using newfound historical evidence that places a Scottish presence in the New World a century before Columbus, Stephen Sora presents a fascinating, convincing scenario that has the St. Clair clan of Scotland transporting the wealth of the Templars, entrusted to them as the Masonic heirs of the order, to a remote island off the shores of present-day Nova Scotia. The mysterious money pit there is commonly believed to have been built before 1497 and has guarded its secret tenaciously despite 2 centuries of determined efforts to unearth it. All of these efforts, even one financed by American President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, have failed, thanks to an elaborate system of booby traps, false beaches, hidden drains, and other hazards of remarkable ingenuity and technological complexity created by its builders. Even in recent years, despite the increasingly sophisticated tools at our disposal, the secret of the Oak Island money pit has remained beyond our reach, at least until now. Stephen Sora has been researching unusual historical enigmas since 1982. He lives in Allentown, Pennsylvania. The Lost Treasure of the Knights Templar is his first book. Very interesting, if you're a treasure hunter. So there's book 4. Book number 5, we have Cape Refuge, which is book 1 by Terri Blackstock. This is a 2002 copyright. It's definitely been loved. You see some bends and some aging on the pages. And this is what it's about. A brutal double murder has struck fear into the heart of the peaceful Cape Refuge community. The crime weapon belongs to the victim's son-in-law, but Police Chief Cade remains unconvinced that his best friend took the lives of Thelma and Wayne Owens. The Owens Ministry, a halfway house, shelters individuals far more questionable than Jonathan Clary. Now people are convinced that it may house a murderer who could strike again. Shattered by her parents' death, Morgan Clary struggles to keep Hanover House running while her husband sits in jail. Her sister Blair is no help, embittered by the scars of her past. Blair wants no part of her dead parents' ministry or their Christian faith. She wants to sell the house until her determined search is to find the true killer, uncover some startling findings, a lethal race against time ensues for Morgan, Blair, and Cade, with far more than Hanover House at stake. So there you go. Book 5. Book number 6, we have The Golden Buddha by Clive Cussler and Craig Dirgo. This is a 2003 copyright. And this is what it's about. I'm hoping. Hold on. He hides his synopsises. I have to go looking for them. Okay. Dear readers, a few years ago while I was writing The Flood Tide, I realized that Dirk Pig needed some help on a particular assignment, so I dreamed up Juan Cabrillo. Cabrillo ran a ship called the Oregon, on the outside completely nondescript, but on the inside packed with state-of-the-art intelligence gathering equipment. It was a completely private enterprise available for any government agency that could afford it. It went where no warship could go. transported secret cargo without suspicion, plucked data out of the air, and it was the perfect complement to NUMA. In fact, I had so much fun writing about the Oregon and its rakish one-legged chief that I was sorry to see it set sail off when its task was done. I promised myself I'd find a way to bring them back someday, and here I am pleased to say they are. Golden Buddha is the first in a new series about Juan Cabrillo's merry men and women, and I hope you get as much kick out of reading them as I did creating them. And who knows, maybe sometime they'll cross paths with Dirk Pitt again. Clive Cussler. So that's about all you get on this. Is another book he brought back to characters. Because there's no synopsis on this one. That's all you get. That's all you get, people. So there you go. Golden Buddha. Okay. Number 7. We have another Clive Cussler and Craig Dirgo. This is called Sacred Stone. This is a novel of the Oregon Files. Let's see where he hit it this time. And this is a 2004 copyright. In the remote waste of Greenland, a young scientist has unearthed an artifact hidden in a cave for a millennium. A 50,000-year-old meteorite known as the Sacred Stone, which possesses potentially catastrophic radioactive power. But the astounding find places... Okay, wait a minute here. Blah, 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 blah. But the astounding find places him in the crosshairs of 2 opposing terrorist groups who seek the stone for themselves. One is a group of Muslim extremists who have stolen a nuclear device with the power of a meteorite. They could vaporize any city in the West. The other is led by a megalomaniacal industrialist, whatever that means, who seeks to carry out the utter annihilation of Islam itself. Caught between 2 militant factions bent on wholesale slaughter, Juan Cabrillo and his ship of high-tech mercenaries known as the Corporation must fight to protect the Sacred Stone and prevent the outbreak of World War III. So there you go. Book 7. Book number 8 is called Faces I Tried to Forget by John Steer. This is a 1989 copyright, and this is what it's about. John Steer, the author of best-selling book Vietnam Curse or Blessing, has written a heart-searching and gut-rending sequel. The soldiers come home from Nam in disgrace and without glory. There were men and women rejected. John tried to forget those thousands of faces that haunted him night and day, but God wouldn't let him. John now shares from his heart the plight and agony of those who fought and that of their families. John, of course, knows their answer is Jesus Christ. We as the church must also realize the answer and help heal this wound. John tells us now. John Steer was a paratrooper with the 173rd Airborne Infantry during Vietnam. Personally experienced 2 of his worst battles of the Vietnam War. Hill 811 in June 1967 and Hill 875 in November 1967. That's when I was born. Awarded 2 Purple Hearts, the Silver Star, and a Bronze Star, he was living on the brink of insanity, filled with hate and obsessed with killing the enemy. After finally reaching the end of himself, he cried out to God and was saved. Since 1980, John has traveled throughout the United States to minister and counsel other vets while trying to inform the general public about the plight of Vietnam veteran, as well as the veteran of other wars. This sounds like a really good book, and I put this under action and suspense, even though this could go under true military, because there was just so much that people went through in wars. So I put under action suspense because to me it seems fitting. So with that, that is 8. Book number 9 is Hunger by Jemiah Knight. This is a 2015 copyright, and this is what the book's about. Desperate to solve a food shortage, exogen scientist Dr. Ellen Mast oversees the creation and release of the RC714, a gene that unlocks millions of years of adaptation evolution, allowing crop to use long dormant junk DNA to rapidly adapt to any environment. The world's food supply grows aggressively, occupying every inch of the earth, no matter how inhospitable. World hunger is averted, humanity flourishes. RC714 is digested, absorbed, and passed on. This change affects small, fast breeding mammals first. They multiply with the same aggressive speed as the exogen plants, but a new insatiable hunger drives them to violence. War between species breaks out, and then RC714 reaches humanity along with every other large creature on the planet. Civilization implodes as everything that consumed the exogen crop begins to adapt to a world full of predators, accessing genes dating back to the beginning of life itself. Peter Crane and his son Jacob survived the change, living in their family farmhouse and eating the non-exogen food from Biodome, one of the provided by Ella Mass, who discovered the ramifications of her breakthrough too late. The pair ekes out a living in a world full of monsters, surviving until Ella shows up on their doorstep with her daughter, pursued by desperate predators and men alike. As the farmhouse falls under attack, Crane learns the end of humanity, of life on Earth, can still be averted if Elle Mast and her daughter survive, and if they make it to the other side of the country without being captured or consumed. So this sounds like a really good book. So that is 9. And book number 10, and the last book in this lot, is called Italian Neighbors, or Last Anglo-Saxon in Verona by Tim Parks. This is a 1992 copyright, and this is what it's about. Tim Parks and his wife Rita come to their flat on the aging eccentric Via Colombare in Montecchio 11 years ago for a short stay. There was trouble for the moment they moved in. Under the cover of night, it has gone delightfully up and downhill ever since, and this amusing and loving tribute to the glorious country he has embraced. British novelist Tim Parks shares secrets of survival, tales of the unexpected, and treasured friendship with newfound friends and Italian neighbors. So this sounds interesting. So with that, whatever time zone you're in, I'll see you soon, and I hope that you read the description below and you comment and come visit me because I like my commenters. And I'll see you soon. Bye.